Hello, welcome to part 3 of the tutorial to walk you through how to set up an outline correctly in social studies. This part will actually be very short, but it is a crucial step in developing a correct outline, and one step that many of you are still struggling with. So, once we've developed the thesis statement, and once we have found our specific example, which we're in parts 1 and 2, we are now imagine yourself standing across two cliffs. On one side, you have the thesis, on the other side, you have the specific example. We cannot just go from our thesis, which is this humongous statement, to our first specific example, because the reader is going to be confused about, well, what is this covering? Is it covering the scientific? Is it covering economic? Is it social? So, the job of what we call the supporting detail is to build a bridge between those two cliffs so that it connects the idea from one, the thesis, to two, the specs. Its job is also to narrow the reader into explaining what it is you're about to talk about. So, what I did is I take words from my thesis. The Chaldeans had many scientific advancements. Now, don't use all of the words. I use the word scientific and I use the word advanced, but I change it up by saying advancements. I'm recognizing my thesis with those 6 words. The Chaldeans had many scientific advancements because I'm arguing that the Chaldeans had an advanced civilizations, and one of my areas of focus is scientific. Now, the second part of your supporting detail. So the first part, recognize the thesis. You don't have to make it long-winded. You should not rewrite the thesis. You need to find a way to shorten it, but still make sure you let the reader know this is the section that's going to be about scientific. In those 6 words, I'm telling my reader that this fact I'm about to present to you is about science. So if you look back at my thesis, I am covering the scientific section of my thesis. Now, the second part of your supporting detail is to narrow in and categorize what my specs is going to be about. So if I read my specs and I think about, well, it's about the observation of the stars, they're talking about the planets, they're talking about the phases of the moon, this sounds like astronomy to me. And I know that that is the study of the stars. So I say they made many scientific advancements in the area of the astronomy. Now, if astronomy was not a word you could think of, you could say in their study of the sky, in their examination of the universe. Just something that alludes to the fact that the scientific advancement is not just a random science thing. Science is still a big idea. So by adding in these 5 words, I'm narrowing my focus to introducing what my scientific specs will be about, which is astronomy or the study of the sky. So you'll notice my supporting detail statement is not long. It's a straightforward sentence that has words from the thesis and categorizes what my specs is going to be about, but it is such a crucial step in writing because it's going to tell the reader that this whole section is about science. So when I get into my next section and I switch topics, I create another supporting detail statement, but this time it'll be leading me into my economic specs. And then my last one will lead me into my social. Some of you are overcomplicating this or completely ignoring it. Please do not forget this step because without it, your specs, it doesn't make sense. So once again, it's a bridge between two cliffs of the thesis and specs that will make sure it narrows the reader's focus to introducing what your specific example and your spec set will be about. Good luck.